Hey, you know what the big bad black sheep? Hot of fire, not a pretender or liar. And it's another reasoning. Yeah, it's been a while, you know. I am a woman that wears many hats, And yeah, so I've been busy, but I've been good, and I trust that you're good as well. So for the past 2 months, February to March, I've had some experiences or witness, some things, and I plan to share some of it today, along with this topic. Today's topic is, facing reality of male nature. So the first experience was in February, where I went to this event, to work. And after the event, I was going home and I was waiting for, a cab, a taxi. So you had some other males that were there talking. And they went to the party as well, the event. So in just being there waiting, one of them said, man, the way how the girl them sexy, if I was the security guard, I would just be raping. Just a rape, so, And then he went on to say, if the police should come at the scene and detain him, probably the police would just let him go because he understand that he's just a horny man. Yeah. And with him saying this, it was just a joke to the other males, right? I can never see rape as a joke or even as a fantasy. Yeah. And the police force, to even elaborate more on even them, most victims that have had sexual assault or sexual abuse in the range of like young teen, like starting from maybe 13 to up to 18. Yeah. Say those victims come from inner city communities and they don't have the money to get, proper lawyer representatives. Many police, would take advantage of those victims. They would start sleeping with those victims as well, here in Jamaica, in other countries too, but I live here and I witness this. I hear many stories about it too, right? The police force was never meant to solve crimes. Yeah. Men don't have empathy for women and children. And that is a big problem. So, anyway, another experience in March now, where I was on my way to the market when I was waiting for my mom, right? So standing where I was, this male came up to me to ask me for my number. And I said no. I just said no, right? This male took it so personal to the point where he started talking about how the way I dress and the lifestyle that I live. Yeah? And in my defense, I'm like, whatever. Yeah? If you think that I am a lesbian and I am not attracted to men, why are you trying to bark up this tree that you cannot climb then? Why? Like, it doesn't make sense. There's so many women out there that would want you. Yeah? That like the way you look. And let me mind you, this is a person that is bleached. Yeah? Bleached out. You know, his skin tone is so friggin' pale. Like a lizard. Literally. Yeah? Males who do those things, you think that people would take you serious? Even for an opportunity, you know? And I don't like to judge people, but the way you carry yourself does matter, yeah? And it does show where you are mentally as well. Now, it escalated to the point where I said, you know, I will never sell my soul. You know, that seemed to kind of quiet him, but he still wants to, you know, have his rage. I'll let him have that. I'm not going to argue with illiterate people. Yeah? People who don't know themselves, who don't care to even expand and grow mentally in none of their aspects. Seeing? It goes as far that he tried to threaten me, you know. But I was waiting for him, yeah. Because a lot of these males think that a lot of us women are weak, yeah. And we don't know what is in our surroundings. And we don't prepare for that. Yeah, it's not every woman likes to talk and argue. Yeah, some of us are very action-packed. But anyway, I let that fool run. And he saw me a couple times and he can't do anything. Matter of fact, he's the one that is acting shaky, you know. But yeah, they can't accept rejection. Yeah. They feel like they are obligated. As soon as a male sees a woman minding her business, he thinks that she needs some form of assistance or some friend. Like, no. Especially a woman like me. I do not care to have, you know, meaningless connections. My connections need to be, you know, deep. Have some form of mental, emotional, and spiritual bond. And you can't have that with males. Yeah? They always have an intention to infiltrate. I had another experience in March again, yeah, where this male, he knows me, I don't know him, you know. That shows that you don't know who is really keeping an eye on you. And he was more calm of an individual, you know. And he approached me. And he was saying, like, you know, if I'm looking for a male, a man, I'm like, nah, I have better things to do. I have so many things that I want to do and I love to do. So that is not on my mind. So he went as far to say that then maybe we can be friends. And I shut that down and say, you know, male and females cannot be friends. And he's like, why you say that? I'm like, males by nature are gonna push boundaries. Yeah? And I don't have time to be telling somebody, correcting a person not to push my boundaries. I rather not just have them around, you see? So, anyway, the last experience now, I made a couple videos, you know, talking about my experience in Rastafari and how, you know, this male that I was with that claims that he's a Rastaman is a warlock, yeah? And he seeks to siphon the feminine energy to manifest on his own behalf. And I even share that how I looked in that relationship, you know, how I became so unrecognizable, you know, of my own self. I lost so many weight. My hair, you know, I had locks one of the time, and I the way I had a mental breakdown, I removed my locks, you know, and just left it as an afro. And then leaving it at that stage, my hair was losing its texture, yeah. Till one point I was observing and realized that I even had gray hair. Yeah, that's how stressed and depressed I was in this relationship with this male. And these are older males. Yeah. These older males are detriment to young women. But anyway, I got invited to this session. And let me tell you this. I've met some sistering. I met this sistering, right? At Nyabinghi with her male, her so-called husband. And when I saw her, she was a beautiful empress, you know. She had her weight. She had her weight. You can see that this is a, yo. If she should really like step into her power, she would have been the baddest, you know. That's how beautiful she is. And you know, sadly, she's outcasted because she's half black, half Italian, right? And not just by her own people, but even Rastafari, because Italy tried to, you know, overthrow. They tried to infiltrate Ethiopia, right? To take over. So it's like there is this vendetta, you know, here in Jamaica with Rastafari against Italy. You know, they don't like Italians, so they claim. But I think that is just bullshit. And this lady, when I saw her, she had her weight, yeah? And she was a bit standoffish, but I never judged that, you know. because even the male that she's with, even his own family, you know, don't accept her, and they try so much to dehumanize and discredit this woman so much, you know, as Rasta. Yeah. And a lot of them are women too, sadly, you know. But what I'm saying is this. It aligned a point where when I was in Rastafari, where I met them at an other event, and behind her back, when that lady stepped away, yeah, her so-called husband was talking, you know, ill about her, and even how he has to beat her up because she's very jealous and all of that. But I now understand reactive abuse, because I've been through it, where a person would do something to push your boundaries, and when you reach a point to react, they would say you're the villain, you know. They will say you're the bad person for reacting. Yeah. And when she came back, I could see the bruises. I could, you know, see that she wasn't feeling good, you know, in herself. And yeah, but fast forward to like the other day when, you know, I was at that session and he was there too with her. And when I tell you, when I pull up at the scene and saw the lady, my Lord, you know, I feel so emotional, because I couldn't believe that it was her, because this lady is a younger woman than that man. And she looked like an older woman for him. She lost all her weight. She had locks as well, and that is gone, you know. Her hair is just straight, you know, catched in a bun. But what I'm saying is this. Men will suck the life force out of you. Again, they will drain your soul. This woman look like a dead woman, you know. It's a dead woman me that look on, because she don't have her life force energy no more. This man drained this woman. Yeah. And then when somebody have the concern for ask about this lady, you know, ask this her so-called husband, what is wrong with her? Why she behave this way? He might have the audacity to say that she's an old alcoholic, so she's having some form of withdrawal or some shit. But I know, so this man beat this woman, mentally abused this woman, and this cult that she's in, because it's a cult. These group gatherings are a cult because they want to do the most traumatizing things to you. Yeah? Get you involved in group sexual acts, and then want you to be loyal to them. That is cult behavior. Yeah? Whether it want to be in a workplace, in a church, on a sports team, anywhere, it's cult behavior. But yeah, he abused this woman to the point where she doesn't know who the fuck she is. Yeah, and it's sad. And me, I know, yeah, a woman claim to say that they're Rasta, see this and don't care. They don't give a fuck, right? They are happy about this. To see a woman lose herself to the ideology of worshipping, yeah, God, men, And that's why I, you know, will continue to isolate myself. Yeah. Because if I don't see people fit, if I don't see people who have found themselves and their own peace and solitude, I don't want anybody around me, you know. I'm good by myself. Yeah. I don't have a problem sitting with my emotions, my thoughts. I like myself. You know, I make myself laugh a lot of times too. I am not afraid to laugh at myself. You know, why take yourself so serious too. To the point where you can't laugh. You know, when you do something silly or, yeah, we like to judge ourselves, but why not laugh sometimes? Because we're still observing the nature of our being still, you know, of our bodies, of our mind. We can be in that observatory role, you know, place, and learn. Because I don't think I know everything, you know, but I am so open to learn. That's why I will eventually know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 for this. But let me continue for a few more minutes. I saw this video, you know, with Princella Clark, the Queen Maker. Yeah, I give credit to her because I've learned so much from her program, you know. And it was a big stepping stone, you know, to freeing myself from the traditional beliefs of this, yeah, matrix. But the other day, observing one of her content, I saw in one of her comments, you know, this quote that says, "You obsess over your identity in relation to others, men, while your soul rots inside of you." Now, I'm a very sensitive person, you know. Some people say I'm miserable, but I can feel energy, you know. And when I feel that energy, I will act on it. Not impulsively, but with the wisdom, you know, I embody. You know, I like to analyze situations. Because there's many pieces to the puzzles, you know, many pieces to the puzzle. Yeah. But facing this reality, you know, we have to realize as women that males are codependent on women to center them, right? They demand everything a woman has to be poured into them. When a man is alone, he physically feels inflammation. Yeah. Most of them can't hold their own weight. And let me tell you this as a woman. You are not wrong to desire a man that can hold his own weight. Because they like to complain that women don't care and and all of that. But we women go through so many things, you know. that we don't even speak of. And I see a lot of males that like to play victim. Yeah. And I can tell you from my experience, I've been with one. The worst. Yeah. He paints everybody in his life as jealous of him, or, you know, a thief. And people like to project who they are onto others, you know. In the long run, it all reveals that he is the one that is full of jealousy and envy, and is a thief of abundance, joy, and peace. A complete demon. Yeah. But the best thing you can do as a woman is to genuinely move on. Pick yourself up, you know. Leave these men alone. Because they need you. You don't need them. Society created those voids for you to need a man. You can figure things out on your own without a male in your presence. It's not so sure. When a male doesn't have a woman, you know, his lifespan is very short. And these relationships extend a lot of these men lifespan, especially ones that shouldn't even be here, to be honest. Because just like in the grass, you have the weed that hinders growth to either flowers or the grass. You know, you have to remove them. Yeah. You have some people that are like that. Parasites, vampires. You know. What you would call an incubus or a succubus. And those things are not entirely bad. You know, because you have a light and a dark side to things. You know. Those kind of beings have the ability to cause transformation. They are like catalysts for change. You know. Because you have people that feed off negative energy, and you have people that feed off positive energy. You know. And manipulation can be both negative and positive. Yeah. It's what you call influence. But when it's bad, it's called manipulation, you know. So, it's to just have your mind as wide, you know, and open to see, but to not just receive, but to see from as many perspectives. Because when you can see the whole picture, instead of just a piece, you will have even a stronger understanding to the point where you just allow things to unfold and to solve themselves. Yeah. I'm gonna do a part 2.